Docteur Bao, JJB, ça va une loi. Le colonel Sveignan Timoléon. Allô? Sarali, oh! You're doing your use. That's what, okay? I try to well. I try to well. I'll buy it. Sekiwe, kiwe. Try more, try more, buy it. Fiwe, kiwe. Try more, buy it. Try more, you and a lady, you ne mo te wo o ya bla mo ma ju du mo wa mo ko we ji do ta ma tu ji o ye le o ji o e to we mo e o wa yi we di e we re o kini se ma we te nya gba wo me yo ra de na le na ta na we kai nu e kini se ma we te nya gba wo ra de na le na ta na we ko ise ma we mo ta bi agba o awode jawe mo na jawe mo o jawe mo na jawe mo ba ai we you have a go, some of your power, Armstrong Vanessa, Mr. Benjamin, le président Soué Basile, de Méo, non Jérémy, et ses amis, on est Patrice, Roscondoua, et Kilo Sapou de Ma.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I hope that I'm audible tonight. And we want to thank you very much for tuning in. We say thank you.
Good evening, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm on it again tonight, folks. And this is no laughing matter.
Seriously,
what on it? Good evening.
Again, folks, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm here again having fun, of course, already. So we want to welcome all of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay with us here tonight. We have some serious conversation. We're being joined now by Mr. Amos George. But Mr. George, before I bring you on, let me just do the safety stuff here, please. Allow me to clean up a little bit. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening for bringing us here. Lord, we ask you to please continue to provide the blanket of love, the blanket of protection. And we say thank you. Thank you, my Lord. Only through you that all of these things we're doing is possible. We ask you, my Lord, to continue to bless us, pour the blessing on all of us. And one thing about this Jesus Christ that I know, that I love, he doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care where you come from. Just know him and you will get the same blessing. Blessing is even up. He doesn't say you because you're Samson told you get a little bit, you because you're Deja. No, everybody have the same blessing. My Lord, only through you. And things are all possible because of you. You don't pick and choose. And I want to glorify you here this evening. I want to praise you here this evening. I want to thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. We ask you to do more for us. Lord Jesus, we ask you to bless the country of the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leaders of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. My Lord, we ask you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's go on. We want to thank all of you again for tuning in this evening. And we'll bring Mr. George on here very shortly. Tonight's program, we're going to be all over this place. We're going to be all over the map. But you know me. I'm liberal. The liberal. I don't hide nothing. If I see something is good, I say so. If I see something that is not good, I say so. Whether the person who is doing good or bad, whether it's the person that I admire, Ambassador Baka, I will say so, good or bad. I'm not going to hide anything, because if I do that, I'll be harming myself. I'm not here for praise sinker. I'm not here for any of that kind of stuff. I'm here to tell you what I believe is to be the truth. And from that perspective, let me start the show this evening. You guys know I am not a fan of the ANC. I admire Honorable Alexander Comey. There's no question to ask. And Honorable Alexander Comey has been doing some wonderful things lately, especially what I've been reading. Folks, if you go on Front Page Africa and you read some of the things that Honorable Comey is doing, where is Ambassador Baka? Where is Ambassador Baka in this whole thing? I don't see him. I don't hear from him. Let me drink water, because people tonight, they must say on it. Whether I admire you or I admire you, another thing. And I want to go English, eh? Whether I admire you, that's another point. And I want to go English, eh? So we'll be on here tonight. But on a very serious note, can you guys hold on 1 minute, please? I'm on air. Oh, Jesus. I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. There's no question. Okay, I'm going to call her back later on. She's doing the family a goof's favor. I'm not going to tell you what she's doing yet. When she's done, I will praise that and we'll talk about it. But I'll call her later. But anyway, tonight, where is Ambassador Baka in this whole thing? Honorable Comey has opened the gate. This is some of the things Ambassador Baka and people will do that I really particularly don't feel happy about it. I admire him. I still want him to be president. There's no question asked. But when you're supposed to take the lead as an older person, if you're supposed to take the lead, if you're going to let Honorable Comey to take the lead, then you must say so. Then come together. We'll come back to that come together business, because it's nothing funny about that. It's nothing funny about that, folks. So Honorable Comey, okay, my understanding, he's back in Liberia. I don't know. Wow, the American flower. The first class, he flying so. Oh, I gotta take this cup, folks. So bear with me. Hello? Yeah, I'm on air. Can I call you back, please, dear? All right. Bye. You see, when you're on air, when a special person call you, you in trouble. You think a fool because I'm facing like bro, that will not call her babe, and then I get in trouble for that. Big you can, you know what? You can take your show business. Hey, you go. Me, I feel making you happy. Then when I go home, I go later, and then they kick me. I beg you. I'll call you back, babe. You think I'm stupid? We're not stupid right here, you know? Folks, this is who I am. That's what you see is what you get. I don't hide it. That's it. Simple. But let's get back. So, Honorable Comey has been Where all the people coming from on my show like that? I'm getting ready to enjoy myself here tonight. Where all the people coming from? My goodness. My goodness. What look at that. What kind of business is it? I'm trying to enjoy myself here tonight. They're all popping up. Let me bring in Mr. George as well. They're all just popping up. Mr. George, are you with us?
Yes.
I was just trying to enjoy myself. Then the worst possible people show up. They're too conservative that don't get along with me. They pop up. But let me just finish my statement, folks.
Go ahead.
So quite recently, Honorable Kumi has been doing a wonderful.
What did I hear you saying, Jenna?
What you hear me say?
You old man, NGO.
Let me make my statement. Conservative, please. I'm running a show. I'll pack you. I'll pack you in a bag, get some money. You know, I'll pack you. And now what other people do on the other network, they can pack you in the bike. I'll also pack you in the garage. But anyway, let me say this on a very serious note. Kumi has been doing some wonderful thing. He's been saying some wonderful thing lately. You know me, just yesterday, I was here saying, Kumi this, Kumi that. That's who I am. If you do something good, I will say so. You do something wrong, I will say so. I'm here to come make friends. Kumi, when you were here in the United States, he said some wonderful thing about us. And I'm a member of the Liberian diaspora community. And the way he talked about us, the kinds of things that when he take the leadership, what he's going to do to make sure that we'll all benefit from his leadership. Oh, I love that. I love that. That I love very much. And I said, thank you. I hope that's true. Then he went to Liberia. All along, I've been calling on them. You can't say something about the biometric stuff. You can't say something about this sensor. He got there. He went straight ahead. He didn't even look back. This is what I'm talking about. When you do this kind of thing, we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. But still, though, the person who I admire is still not to be found. I don't know what's going on with Ambassador Baka. This kind of thing. You're supposed to be the father. I consider you. Of course, he's still the father. But the bigger person in the room. And you're not taking the lead on these things. Why George Lobo, they can't tell the message, say something. Come in, I can't say something. That now, the person I admire, now you're going to follow the Kumi leads now. I finish blowing the trumpet for Kumi. I can't blow two trumpets at the same time. Even though I'm from Total, but I don't have the ability to blow two trumpets. But I am sure Ambassador Baka will do something good. Good evening, Mr. So, Mr. Amos George. Good evening. The far center right, the far right, the most conservative person, people on LPR, they and I, we don't agree. We don't agree on anything at all. And I'm here as a counterweight. Let me welcome both of you on this wonderful, wonderful show here tonight. I'm in charge, by the way. Yeah, folks. Hey, see the problem? Yeah, I love myself when I let the queen business. I'm in charge. Listen to the way I'm gonna say it. I'm in charge tonight. And we're not going to allow anybody to express himself with a conservative ideas. You see that? Hey guys, Mr. So, Mr. George, good evening, folks. Thank you for joining us, Mr. So. I know you're still going to be running the show here, but don't think say because I say you're going to run it, you're going to park me in the garage. You can't do that. So, Mr. George. Good evening. Welcome. What do you make of my thought about Cummings doing some wonderful thing? What do you think? You think he's doing something good?
You are very dishonest and disgenuine.
Why am I dishonest, Mr. So? Explain yourself. Explain yourself.
I have no idea what you were talking.
Mr. So, as a liberal, I evolve. I don't stay one place. And then I say not stable, they say not stable. When somebody, even if you don't like anything, but when somebody do something good, in order for you to keep your character as a decent person, truthful and trustworthy, even if you don't like the person, but when the person do something good, say so. When the person do something bad, say so. That's what I do. Now you're gonna say that I'm not stable. So why am I being dishonest?
Yeah, what is out of your own words. You say here, with Papa George, Joseph Conto, they can say it came out of yourself that you are unstable, you are unbalanced. You use this word. But the thing about it here is, you have a guy that you sympathize, you like, or whatever, and you want him to be the leader. Why not kind of showcase this guy, tell us exactly who he is and why he should be the president of the Republic of Liberia? You're not even focusing on that. You're just all over the place. And like, I mean, like, those pepper boy that used to be in Total, they live from one farm to another farm. Nobody knows what you represent. You are really causing harm on this network. Let me just tell you it now. I'm sorry to say it, because you are
Mr. So this network is big enough to allow people to be ridiculous as much as possible. It's big enough to allow people to be unstable on the network. I'm not harming the network. The network, if anything, is harming me.
really.
Well, you tell him you're not a psychiatrist. You don't have medical doctor degree. With all your education, you don't have. Then you tell him, you say, I'm unstable.
It wasn't my words. You said that.
Well, it was just something by passing when I made that statement. It was through the emotional stage of my argument when that came out.
Was it a pound one talk?
It was a liquor talk. You gotta forget that, because that liquor talk business right now, you don't even hear money about me anymore. So that's the liquor talk. By the way, on a very serious note, Mr. George, let me go to Mr. George. Mr. George, on a very serious note, I know you support Cummings, but don't you think that within the last few days of Cummings press, the press that are coming out of Cummings and his group, that they're being favorable, and the way Cummings has been handling these issues is something that deserves praise? Don't you think so?
It deserves credit, but
You do me a favor. This man is a comment man. What are you going to expect from him? Let me come, and then he can wash it up, because he gonna
Go ahead.
you people, you got a side here. So more or less, you got to listen to us who have this independent voice. Hear what I sense out. Comey is, you remember in the last elections, this there is what we call this political identity in Africa, in Liberia, third world country as a whole. That sort of brand name should be there, be recognizable, out there within the public domain. So what I think Kumi and his folks, they are doing now, taking the sort of Western side area of politicking. You see him traveling, making more speeches, positioning himself as more a viable and competitive presidential hopeful candidate, if you will. That's what he is doing now. So that helps to sell a potential candidate out. It helps you to address issues way ahead. It makes you to get used to questions and a style of addressing issue. So he positioned, you listen to this one here, he met leaders, business people, he went on people that he met. So what he's doing now, he's trying to picture himself to the Liberian people. Hey, even though yesterday, back yesterday, I was in noon, people call me strangers. I'm just trying to restructure some of his things because we try to play in the minds of these people. But I am moving around. I am talking to people. I am not waiting to be a president before I can start work. Literally, he's starting the work now that when he's elected president, the contacts or the relationship out there with the international community or other folks outside of Liberia, connecting with the diaspora in Liberia. This is sort of a self-reintroduction of himself to see himself as a viable candidate. And that tends to play out. I'm not sure what it is in Liberia, but if you look at the Western side of politics here, you will see people was talking about there were kind of experiences. Where has he traveled? What has he been? There were questions, all of these things here. I think this is what he's bringing to the table. Every now and then he runs to the microphone. There is a reason why he's doing it. People have been quarreling. People have been whining. The sitting president, is not addressing national issue. So by he doing that, one would make a guess that, oh, this guy seems to be ahead of the game when there is any crisis, good or bad, or when there is some sort of challenges confronting the country. When he's president, he would take to the microphone. He would take on the nation. He would tell the nation exactly what is going on. That's exactly what Cummings folks are advancing. And I have no, if we were to go deep in that, Louis Brown, those guys, they are people. They are well-trained NPP people, and with Gage McIntyre, with all of those people, they are the people that really get in the ears of coming. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do, because that helps to neutralize, put to rest a lot of apprehensions about yourself. The more you use to microphone, the more you use to the audience, the less it becomes, and even no question will become so difficult because there will be a way that you're going to come out. That's the drive Comey is on right now. And you're going to see more of that, if I may say.
So, Mr. Judge, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I heard that, but I'm not going to go that far with Mr. So. Should I say declaration? No, I'm not going to go that far either. But his coming here and there, I'm not going to go that far. All I know is coming doing something good. But let me ask you on a very serious note, Mr. George. How do Cummings deal with the popularity issue with Dr. Weir?
There are a couple of things. You have to separate yourself. Do popularity solve your problem? So you got to distinguish that thing from popularity and people who will do the work. And I saw a guy on Facebook last time posted a video, a public speaker. The guy said that because you can fill a football stadium with people and take t-shirts and give it to them, and they think that this guy is the best leader. And he said something that is the biggest mistake we continue to make. So popularity, yeah, there are some. When you're a celebrity, you got popularity. But what's about doing the leadership? Can that translate into a leadership that will deliver the tangible to the people? But our society has been built in a way that popularity will take you to government. So what you do is tell the people, this is what I will do. This is my record. And this is where I want to take the country to the next level. And these are the way I can do it, or we can do it together. Forget about that popularity. Because some people will sit and say, okay, yeah, I see what the man's talking. It makes sense. Some people, they only like the popularity. Whether good or bad, that's it. They like you. So in order, you have to distinguish yourself from that popularity that, hey, this is not a contest for popularity. This is about your country, where you're going to take your country to the next level. If it was only popularity, then you can say, hey, then everything will be floating and flourishing around here. Or look around the world. What the popularity has done to other countries. Show me the leaders that are so popular. And it is a wonderful thing. Very few you can count maybe to name. So the best way is to continue to be yourself and tell the people the truth.
I see. Mr. So, I know you usually sit behind a mic here, but you've been very busy lately, and we thought we'd try to sit behind a mic here for tonight. And we want to thank you for even coming to have a conversation with us. We appreciate that. Dr. Toto just joining us. But let's just give him a few seconds here to settle in. So, Mr. So, let me ask you this. A few weeks ago, a month or so ago, Cummings made a list over there in Liberia. And many of us were chastising him for that list, specifically certain people on that list. So let me ask you, Kumi came here, we were expecting similar lists. Don't you think it's about time that Kumi comes in, not just a diaspora list, but a list with technocrat, a list with people who perhaps you would think, say, yeah, well, this man can do X, Y, and Z, and that's why Kumi is on this track. Don't you think it's about time Kumi come out with that? That you got to turn your camera downward a little bit more.
I think he's.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go. That's good. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. So.
Look, I intend not to offer any sort of advice. There are specific questions that I have, and I'm still working around with the Kumi.
Okay, then let me. I understand. I understand you. Let me just. No, I don't want you. No, Mr. So, this is it. And I'll be frank here. You are a journalist.
But hold on one second.
Hold on. Let me make my point. Let me make my point, and then you can come back to this abuse me. I ask you a specific question, and this question is leading in a way. I'm not a lawyer, but I do pretend to be one on TV. This is a leading question that I can ask Dr. Toto or Mr. George. Your situation is quite different. We'll come to you from that perspective. Let me throw this question to Dr. Toto. Dr. Toto, I know you just joining us. Okay, all right. I think I'm going to enjoy myself tonight. But I want y'all to know something.
I am running this show.
So let me go back to Dr. Toto. On a very serious note, the old man having fun. I'm not getting away. All of your young people, you're not leaving me behind. You're not leaving me behind. I stay here. We all want foot to foot. But let me go to Dr. Toto. Kumi made a list the last time, and we all were here crying and on it. Kumi came over here. We thought you were going to make a list. But don't you think it's about time that Kumi show us some of the technocrats that are behind him in terms of policy and what have you? Don't you think it's about time we see that list as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. So, Labor, that's a very good point of the discussion. When it comes to the list, because some all were taken back when that list were published. We saw some name, that read it on the forefront, and somebody name were not on that list, so we need to take back. But let me play incoming mind small. I think the reason why Kumi try to focus more on, let me just put a big disclaimer about ANC supporter. I'm T1 Google there. But I think let me try to play Kumi mind a little bit. If you look at the Unity Party government of 12 years of Eddie Johnson city, if I want you in Liberia back to back, most of the complaint that the people have in Liberia against the Unity Party government, and most of the people from Eddie government came from the diaspora. And they also help to create the mess that is in Liberia today in terms of corruption, malpractices of government. Most of them don't follow policy procedure. So they blame the Unity Party government a lot. So digging into the mind of Kumi's, I want to believe that's the reason why Kumi focused his list on Liberia, meaning to get people from Liberia. Why at the same time get my brother-in-law, people people like janitor, and to be working behind the back, to be doing most of the propaganda. That's the reason why Kumi took that route.
Okay, let me go to Mr. So. Mr. So, I hope I'm audible. I hope you can hear me. I will now ask you a question. This new found Kumi media blaze that we've been seeing lately, from your own journalistic perspective now, do you think that this is something you've seen a lot in terms of press releases and press engagement and what have you. Do you think this particular coming media blaze here, do you think is going to benefit him from your journalistic perspective now? Do you think it's going to benefit him, or is there something in it that you can see that many of us who are not journalists cannot see?
Out from looking at it from a philosophical aspect and the trend that is taking, I can for sure tell you it's going to pay off, but to what extent political dividends are going to bring, that I can't say. You know, and I know, in any context, public relation aspect is very much important. You know how many millions of dollars is spent here. And if you are realized, anytime Mr. Cummings is addressing the nation or when he's taking on major issue, what do? He pays for airtime. He goes to all of these network. They pay for these what are outside Liberia, urban Liberia, those network, and they relay his message. What is he doing? What is ANC doing? They are trying to project him out there because it's been perceived, and he struggled with that. He realized that in the last contest, the recognition, who is this guy here? Where is he coming from? Where has he been? There are a lot of things being incited into his political career, even down to people who you were collaborating with to call him naming as a stranger. He's not a guy. He's where has he been? He has not been engaging. So the best way you can get this done is to engage the media. And that's the trend that they have taken. And like I'm saying, with Louis Brown and McIntyre Gageway coming in, knowing these people, I saw how effective Louis Brown then turned the coins around with Mr. Taylor in terms of the media operation. That's exactly what he's doing. Anytime he's speaking, nearly all of the major networks, inside in Monrovia, outside of Monrovia, and they are very strategic in doing that. Lofa County, Bone County, Nima, Grand Bassa, what do? They would take the airways. They want his name to be familiarized. They want the electors to know who is he. In politics, it is not good to wonder who you are. When you want to contest or you want to get in politics, you want to be known, need recognition. People pay attention to it. It draws people in to say, okay, let me go and see what he has to say. But when they call Samson Tour from Tota and they begin to wonder, Samson Tour, but where he come from, say, who is he? That is a negative. That is a negative reflection. It deters people. It makes people to draw back. So Comey is he's on track. I don't know exactly what's going to be the end result, but his investment in the media now with respect to what is unfolding, that's something worth doing if you want to succeed in politics. That I can tell you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Soba. One thing I can tell you, when you call Samson Tony, the first thing everybody will say, Bloku. The next thing they're going to say, the liberal. The next thing I'm well known all over Nigeria, all over Sierra Leone. The liberal is on. So there's no way, if I want to be president of the Republic of Liberia right now, first of all, I have to get the approval from my 13-year-old son first. But let me go to you, Jay. Let me go to you on a very serious note, Jonathan. Before you came on, I was here singing song for Kumi. You and I went at it yesterday, respectfully that is, on disagreement on what I believe you guys were doing. But today, I am being accused of being unstable because I'm praising Kumi. What I believe that when you do something good, even if I'm not on your camera, I'm not in your area, I must say so. I must praise you. And I've done that here tonight. But let me ask you, Jonathan, you're a member, strong member of ANC, hopefully, and maybe you already have a position in ANC. These 2 days and these press release that been coming out of Coming, the press running, horses coming around these few days. What is your own perspective? Are you happy? Are you elated, or there's more to come?
Something playing in the background. I'm hearing something.
1 minute.
Okay.
Is it still there?
No, much better.
Oh, but what happened with Jonathan? Jonathan, I ask you a question, you run away?
Maybe Cummins calling him, perhaps.
Cummins calling the way to recharge.
You yeah, like man, it doesn't matter whether he got PhD or not. He can still throw the job. Like you got PhD, you still telling. Okay, let me go to Mr. George. Mr. George, let me come to you here. Let me come to you, Mr. George. Let's take Jonathan's stuff. You come back, and then we can have him back on. Let me go to you, Mr. George. The same question that I asked Jonathan, because you're also sympathizer ANC. Oh, Jay, you back? Okay. Jonathan, can you hear me?
I can hear you loudly.
Okay. So, do you still remember the question, or do I need to repeat myself?
Just repeat yourself so that.
Okay. I said, coming in the last 2 days or so, a week or so, coming down on the press, enjoying himself. Let me put it in a simple term, enjoying himself with the press. He's been having some good, favorable press as far as I'm concerned. What is your own perspective? Are you happy? And if so, is there more to come that we have to see from here on? We're not going to have these kinds of sniffle with appointing the like of Donald Chair.
I didn't get that last part.
We're not from this point on. Are we not going to be seeing the kinds of appointment he made the other day? We're bringing on Donald Chair, which then turned people off. People like many people off, according to the story.
Okay, thank you again. Thanks to all of you, my newly recognized brother-in-law, Dr. George Tutu, and Pap George and Mr. So, including you, Mr. To. It is quite wonderful again to be here to share our different thoughts about Liberia. That's why we have all of our different engagements. We still made it an obligation to always be here. I would like to say that Mr. Cummins had continuously and will continue to engage the Liberian political sphere, making his case to the general public and advocating as well as suggesting solutions to the problems at hand. The more the problems, the more you hear Mr. Cummins speaking about those issues. Yesterday's press conference was mainly directed at the rice crisis. I followed the agriculture minister today. She said that she's not in the full know of the 11 million that clearly demonstrated. We spoke about stealing. We said it almost 4 weeks before the rice crisis. And today, the agriculture minister, who should be responsible for the production of rice, even if it is imported, but our information will be passed by her side adequately to know that we are subsidizing rice, is not in the know. So Mr. Cummins spoke about it yesterday, that Liberia is rich, Liberians are not lazy, our weather is good. All we need to do is to drive to mechanized farming, send more people out of the country, bring more expertise, partnership with private sector, request government assistance and extension of the agriculture. He also spoke about census. Census is very important. It gave her the population density of our country. By development, it says development moves by population. So if we don't know the population of our country, we cannot know how to do the post-off system to mark the houses according to the various post box. We will not know the human development index as to where there need to be more investment. He also spoke about the biometrics issue. The biometric, he was clear that the National Elections Commission does not have the well-written, they do not have the technical know-how, they have not done it before, so we should partnership with people who have done it, and we should listen to the government entity called the Public Procurement Concession Commission, their recommendation and our partners. He spoke about technology. He said that technology make things to work faster, to work better, and to work accurately. With technology, we'll get better data system in Liberia, we'll get better telecommunication, These are things that are going to make up his policy as a presidential candidate.
So let me push you on. Let me push you on that just before you land. When will we be able to? Should we expect to see? Because Kumi is in the business of making lists. I mean that I can give him. So I'm going to say that because he just made one. So then we should be expecting. When will we see the next list? The same question I asked the gentleman, doctor, earlier. When will we be able to see the next list with technocrats, serious political advisors who has the ability that we can understand? When will we be able to see that kind of list?
Fairly from an informed position here, I will tell you that it will be coming out soon. I cannot specify a time frame to it. I know that bulk of the names that will be coming out, they have to be about Liberians who are back home, because they're where the action is. That is where people are affected, and so you have to bring bulk of them on board. You have people from different spectrum, and soon we'll see that list. I also have listened to the issue of...
Is my knee on that list? My knee on it?
Yeah, your knee might be on it. Who knows? Who knows? Because getting from beyond that of Waka, I think it will be a great help to us.
Okay.
We are open to every idea. I can tell you clearly, Mr. Toro.
Okay. Let me go. Go ahead, Len, so I can go to Mr. George.
I can tell you clearly that Mr. Cummings, we can say all we want to say. We can disagree. We can make suggestions as to how you should do it better. But as of 2018, Mr. Alex Cummings has worked harder than any presidential aspirant or candidate, has worked smarter than any presidential candidate or aspirant, had tapped on the innovation of educated Liberians than any presidential candidate or aspirant. And we will not stop. We'll keep pushing as much as possible to get more Liberians on board to make the team a bigger thing as we want it to be.
Mr. George, let me read this to you. Perhaps you can help me to understand it. Cummings says, since 2018, President Weah has fooled around with the conduct of the National Housing and Population Census. Less than a year before the presidential and general election in 2023, the administration is still playing around with the conduct of the census, which is constitutional demand, he says. Now, how does he know the president is fooling around?
But I said it before, yeah. I'm on record for that.
Okay, explain more. Disabuse me on this.
Hold on now. The census is conducted every 10 years. So 2018 was when the government should have conducted that census. They pushed it forward, they said there was no money. 2019, the same thing. 2020, no money. So that's why I said the other day, and the legislature, because it's run by CDC, because in the parliamentary procedure, you can't sign anybody for any hearing if the speaker don't approve of it or the president pro tem don't approve of it. You cannot do it. I don't care what you do in parliament, you cannot do it. So CDC, because they got the key position, so even if the opposition, if anybody raised any issue or had written Buffer Chimba to cite the Census Bureau chief, if Buffer Chimba don't agree, that person will not appear. The same go for Abbott Chair, the president pro tem. If he doesn't agree, there's nothing can be brought onto the floor. So they have been doing this thing all along, pushing it around.
Mr. Josh, before I go on to Mr. So here, let me push a little bit on this as well. Mm-hmm. And since you're a sympathizer of ANC, I think perhaps you'll be able to give us some clear indication as what the ANC leader is going. This is what he said: no president of Liberia who will not obey and honor the Liberian Constitution deserve to be regarded as president. He just told us that the president is now obeying, that the current president is now obeying the Constitution. And then he said no president who is now obeying should not. So is he saying that Dr. Weah is no longer going to be considered or going to be regarded by him or his follower as president of the Republic of Liberia?
No, he said sure. The first thing is everybody's supposed to abide by the Constitution.
I asked you a specific question,
I
sir.
said no. I said he should not. Because
okay, let me get a clear understanding. So the statement here made by Cummings is not something that you will support.
No, he's right. If you cannot abide by the Constitution, what's the need you've been serving as president?
Okay, no. Let me read that again. He said no president. He told us first. Well, the question I asked you, he said the president has been fooling around. The president has not been able to respect the Constitution, say to abide by the Constitution. Then he goes on, he said, no president of Liberia who will not obey and honor the Liberian Constitution deserve to be regarded as president. So the question I'm asking you is, he told us Dr. Weah has not been obeying the Constitution. Now he's saying if somebody who don't obey the Constitution, you should not be regarded as president. The question to you and the Cummings supporter. So you guys, Cummings is saying now, are you in support of that statement?
How do
you understand? How do you understand?
Mr. Far Right, it's my time. Let me ask the question.
Including Cummings himself.
I'm asking Mr. George, please. I don't want to be packing all the ANC people in the background here tonight. I don't want to put her in the garage. Please let me, Mr. George. So you're saying the man who was elected, duly elected, 61.5% of the vote of the Liberian electorate. You're saying that person, you and the ANC people are no longer going to regard him as president of the Republic of Liberia. Is that what you're saying?
Samson told. Don't say the ANC people no longer going to regard him. Anybody who is elected and has a constitutional duty to perform, and if you fail to do that, there's no need for you to occupy that position. Period.
He's not saying that. He said he should not be regarded.
Samson told. You're not putting word in my mouth. I'll give you an answer. If you are charged to manage the Liberian Public Radio with a mandate, and if you fail to manage the system, to abide by the rules and regulations, what is the new you being managing?
The rule don't apply. I feel all the time. I feel all the time. So
the rule doesn't apply, but the rule, to the contrary, the rules apply. If any leader, any country, if you cannot obey the Constitution, then there's no need you being president.
Okay.
Because that way you become a dictator.
Okay, Mr. So, you were going to chime in, what do you make? Was my question, the premise of my question, is that what agitated you as a journalist? The way I asked my question, is there something that perhaps I need to come and practice more on your tutorage? Is that what you were jumping in for?
You couldn't just understand your own question you were asking. I don't understand.
Well,
you're killing this. You're killing the substance of the conversation here,
Mr. So, can you allow me to?
Second. Sooner or later, you're going to take the backseat because you have not gone through your tutorial, and this is why you're screwing up here. And we don't. Entertainment is not part of what we do here.
Mr. So, will you please let me carry on my show? I don't mind you describing whatever description you want to attribute that to me. That's fine. You know, nothing moved me. I'm Blaku, the liberal progressive. You know that. But let me ask you this, Mr. So. I know you read some of the Cummings press statement. Is there something out there as a journalist? Is there something that stand out to you that you can try?
First and foremost, what you know, it's a politician that is speaking. You need to understand that.
Okay.
Politicians, they speak in a specific tone that you will find it very difficult to comprehend what they are saying. Remember, Cummings, and I said it before, nobody likes weak presidents. There are sort of things that they have I kind of like been successful to define him. And Cummings, I think Cummings folks and some of the folks that are around Cummings now, they learn a hard lesson. And I said that here before. The Comey himself and the folks around Comey, they were unable to defend Comey when Henry Costa was successful to define who Comey was in a wrong context. And guess what? What he said? He never wanted trouble. My guess, because I talked to some of the people, oh, you're leaving. So they're thinking that things were going to fix. They were going to kind of settle it down because they were trying to mend this collaboration together. And he was very successful in defining him. He struggled with that. It almost cost him his political career. So this time around, he learned a lesson from there. So he's going to be very vocal. He using words that he never used before. And this is what people like to see leader doing, leader who going to stand up for them. He's not, I mean, honestly, it's not an insult to the presidency, but he says anyone who violates the Constitution. The Constitution is the bedrock, is which the president and even the nations, all of us who must, no one should be above the Constitution. So that supposition that he's using, that if I'm the head of this network and I can't do the work that I'm supposed to do you still want to consider me as a head? What member will still see me as a head? That's why he's simply saying, do you expect Cummings to come sing what's the holiday that is on hand on what?
Halloween.
Halloween. You expect to Cummings to do a Halloween chicken, whatever thing to Joy? No. Cummings, he's fighting for his political career. He wants the job that he George Weah is holding right now. He's going to do everything to position himself, to regain himself in the sense that there are a lot of damages done to him and he let it go. So there's a serious lesson learned from that. So he's going to do everything possible now to speak out. And this is why more or less his presidential, the speeches he's been making, you see how he's been dressed, putting the flag behind him. Well, we don't consider those things here, but those are things people see and say, oh, this guy, more or less, he seems to be ready on day one. So it is that sort of Western style he has adopted, and he wants to say, well, if I become a president, Liberia will be changed. Things will be done differently. So you're going to see more of that. I told you with the Louis Brown, McIntyre, graduate, all of those guys around Cummings, you're going to see a lot coming out of him.
So let me go to Doc. Doc, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so like you correctly stated here, you are a supporter of the consular, but on this issue of the two burning issue, the biometric and the census issues, many of these politicians, including your own man, nobody was saying anything. Now Comey had come out to make the first statement. Are you guys not going to follow the lead of Comey?
No, if you observe Tiwa Goglo, I think he had made a statement on that before. You know, to talk about that biometric issue. He spoke about it. Comey, not just the first person to talk about that. You know, but it's good for all the various political institutions or parties to kind of echo this issue when it comes to the biometric and the census issue. Is very important to all moving forward, you know, to conduct a free and fair election, like I listen to the chairlady of Black Councilor, what's the lady leader of Liberia Brown Lasana, you know, and she's making a point, you know, that they're going to go by the voter registration process, one or two things, and I'm happy that Comey have taken this step to kind of re-echo what other political institution or party trying to echo, because what it will try to let people to understand, you know, what is going on. But the other problem that have the ANC or Comey as a whole when it comes to the type of pronouncement, you know, with all the intellectual powerhouse that Comey has behind him, you know, some of them they are. We know some of them are working behind the scene, but the message is not just echoing the ear of the people, you know. So there's a big disconnection when it comes to taking the message to the people, I believe Kwame is speaking more to the people in the diaspora. They're speaking to the people in Liberia when you address the issue. And that's the difference between Kwame and our man Taiwan Gogdo. Taiwan is there in Liberia on the forefront taking the message to the people. If you see quite recently, he was in Nema County, he was some part of the Southeast, taking the message to the people. That's what we want to see. And, to take the message. Morovia is not just Liberia. When it comes to making a case for the presidency in Liberia, not just the diaspora. So you can sit and have all the BP press conference in the diaspora and other places in Morovia, your message will not just reach out to the people. And that's why the ANC not really getting the big picture of it when it comes to taking the message to the people.
And just to add, I think that's a critical point Dr. Toto just measuring it. What he's doing to try to solidify his political grip, he has the finances already to execute an effective campaign. He's the only guy that can really stand up to the ruling establishment here. But I think it's time for them to pivot because the actual voter, I'm not sure whether all of you thousands of ANC supporters here, like we are hearing, CDC, do not over. This election is a consequential one. And what we are hearing, the seditions that are here, they are making massive preparation to go inside Liberia to register. Is ANC thinking in that direction? Is the folks, Dr. Toto and the Tiawan Gonglo people, are they also thinking in that direction? So it is important now that his presence is really felt in this battleground. If it even require he to move there, because there's a stigma on him. It's not yet settled yet. It's still undone. There are a few things still needs to be done. In as much, not just when they're raising the money. If you also raise the money, if you are not used to the people and the people are not willing, they are not comfortable with you, they don't see you as one of their own, it's still a problem. Your money will not.
But let me say this here. Monrovia, Alexander Cumming, the political leader of the alternative National Congress and stand-up bearer of the collaborating political party CPP says he's alarmed. John Cumming, what I'm trying to read here is that he's in Liberia presently. He spoke from this press conference was in Liberia.
Listen.
So he is in Liberia. He's not. When I saw that,
yeah, we know he's Liberia, but which part of Liberia? He's in Morovia. Where the press conference conducted.
Hold on, we're gonna do it one at a time. Let me remind all of you.
I am in control. So let's do one at a time. So let me come to you, Jonathan.
Look, you are heading for indefinite suspension.
How you will suspend the board chairman?
What is this?
But how you will suspend the board chairman? I
see why your Liberty Party like that.
I let power. I see a little bit. But no, let me say this here. Jonathan, let me come to you. I know all the comments is in Liberia right now. But do you think that his statement, because many of us were saying that Moria is not Liberia, his statement is resonating all over the country, or Onwokome is afraid to have the same kinds of thing that happened to him, Brandy, that happens again, that therefore he's not going anywhere. Is that what's going on?
Thank you. But let me echo for the audience, because we can manage to get it. But I think he asked him whether the statement that was made in Monrovia, is he afraid that he's not going to Leeward County?
Wow.
Because of the situation.
Jonathan, just a minute. Folks, I apologize. I was just poking fun and my stuff got stuck. So that was not intended to ask question for a respectable gentleman who is speaking for ANC to ask question with that kinds of tone. I apologize. Jonathan, go ahead and finish your statement.
Yeah, so that was my next point that I wanted to go to, because every time you're speaking, I put down points because I want to communicate something to the Liberian people. When Mr. Cummings was in Liberia prior to coming for the ANC Global Convention, he had visited strategically Nimba County. During that visit, we learned that 44 motorbikes were made available and few vehicles were made available to get the ground hit. When Mr. Cummings left Nimba County, he moved to Grand Bassa County.
Why you did it?
He moved to Grand Bassa. He moved to Grand Bassa County. Today, what we see about Grand Bassa County is that one Henry Bobby Gibson, who used to be the legislative research analyst in Madanyomble Kanga office, has resigned November 1st, 2022 to take on the role appointed by Musa Hassan Billeted in Grand Bassa County. So he left his work at the Liberian Senate to go do CPP job. Then before he could come to the USA in recent days, he had gone back to Liberia. While in Liberia yesterday on a press conference, he will be visiting District Number 1, which is part of almost like a Leeward County, especially the interior part of Mesorado County. He will be engaging. Importantly, Dr. Toto will take your pieces of advice into consideration and will improve upon it, because the more the merrier. But Mr. Cummings' speech yesterday, he was deliberately slow to the extent that some of the Facebookers said that the man who claimed to be educated, why is he reading slowly? He was reading because he wanted the information to sink in. He didn't use a lot of words because he wanted the information to get to the Liberian people. And so he was deliberate in his communication. However, we take any pieces of advice along the way to improve upon it, because the more the merrier it will be. So I'd like to say that Mr. Cummings, for a couple of days or weeks, he will be crossing. I mean, with the energy in him, that's the energy we talk about. He will be going to counties and different nooks and corners, as well as being in Monrovia. And when issues are called to order, he's going to definitely, talk about it. And lastly, I heard that I think Mr. Stowe said somebody was asking about my identity of my role. I am ANC Deputy Secretary General for the party. I've held that role for a very longer time, and the party and the CPP has explicit confidence in me. However, my present here is a personal intervention. My analysis here is an individual. When I'll be given that role to execute, I'll be communicated to, and you see me here as AC level before my name.
Okay. All right. We'll let that go, but it sound like somebody that we know. I'm a deputy minister, but I'm not speaking as a deputy minister right now. I'm the president of the Republic of Liberia, but right now I'm not speaking as president. So we'll let that go. But let me ask you, Mr. Evans Joyce, let me ask you this. I know you very well, and I know you don't miss words. Whenever the issue of Cummings and his leadership comes about here, you always explain to her one of the things that you said drew you to him was during the night when you had a fortunate encounter with him, where he asked many Liberians in the room at the time, according to you, as to whether, would anybody be willing to take a pay cut, even to do anything in Liberia. So let me ask you again. Can you name one or two things that I've been accused of not being able to do on this platform? And the reason, I'm not going to give you any reason because I owe you no reason. But I've been accused of not being able to expand on why I admire Ambassador Wakai. But let me ask you on a very serious note. Can you name one or two things besides that, that perhaps you think that many of your friends, relatives, and everybody else that believe in you should follow you in support of Honorable Cummings?
Yeah. Oh, sure. First thing, Mr. Comey is a very good listener. He listens to people very well. If you ask anybody who have met him, he listens very well. And those are some of the characteristics of a good leader. One who listens very well, attentively to people. Second, Mr. Comey is the one, you see that he wants to bring everybody together across the country. Those are just two characteristics of Mr. Comey that I think people should gravitate towards him. He wants to create what he called this big thing, you know. So those are two things I can name of him. But let me just say something, because you've been floating the thing around. Talk about list. Jonathan sitting down there, Jonathan was aware of that list coming up. Every executive of the ANC in America, in the diaspora, they were aware of that list before being published. So I hear some people that he left the diaspora. No. Those who are executive member of that party, and you don't know it. I was informed that everyone that was informed of that list. So that list did not just come out as a surprise that they were left in the darkness. No, they were informed of that list coming up, and there will be more names to come out.
Okay.
From Mr. Cummings.
Okay, let me go to the good doctor.
Let me bring the news here quickly. Yeah. Before you go to Dr. Toto, you can go to Doc, then we'll come over. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Doc, let's give Mr. So a chance to give us a news. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
No, let Dr. Toto speak.
Okay, well, Doc, I am executive member of the executive committee. I was not aware of it until the list came up. So, but let me ask you, Doc. Let me ask you. Your woman, the consular, and I've been one of those who's been very ridiculous here, asking him to go to the Supreme Court and what have you. What are some of the things, besides being a poor man lawyer, what are some of the things that perhaps you think many Liberians should gravitate toward his presidency, that perhaps once he's successful, he will be able to do more than just being a poor man lawyer, a Perry Mason, so to speak, of Liberia?
No, Libra, let me tell you this. The councillor has already proved to the Liberian people that he qualified to do the job. He have been tested in so many areas, not just being a councillor in the Eddie Johnson government. Even from Emerson time when he was served as deputy or probably chief of staff to Emerson in the interim government. So the councillor have demonstrated so many good things to the Liberian people that qualify him to take the job here. I can say there to say I will try to itemize point A, point B to point B. But the Liberian people know who the councillor is. And all the big politicians in Liberia, people that are going through that face some legal problem in Liberia, legal issue in Liberia, they all speak very well of the councillor. So the councillor has a record. A record speaks for him. That's what qualifies him for the job. And he will be the next president for Liberia for all indications that we see from our side. The councillor is pushing it. We saw him a couple of days ago up country in Liberia, meeting some key stakeholders. The Liberian people, he reached out to them, so they know him. So I would not consider, I would not come and sugarcoat RTL on the platform to tell us the labor this. No, I won't do that. But his record there speaks for him.
Okay. Mr. So, go ahead and give us the news.
Okay, here we go. It's unfortunate. The people that you follow, you support, they don't know you, you don't know them, so I don't even know how you're supporting these people here. But on a serious note, we will be having a female analyst. It's been confirmed. Dr. Tonkara, there she is. Dr. Tonkara Kemant Gwet Tankara will be joining the family of the Liberia Public Radio as an analyst representing a movement for one Liberia. Movement for One Liberia is owned by a presidential hopeful. In fact, she will be appearing on my network, on our network. Let me not say my network, on my show this Sunday. Mandela Cooper will be in an exclusive The Liberian War Today this Sunday. and that will be an interesting one. And she's been put forward by the party, and not just only her, the party chairman, Mr. Alexander Tawit Gibson, is the chairman for Movement of One Liberia. They have been put forward, and they will be joining the LPR family here. I think this is what we want. So this is a serious business. I'm not talking about the other serious business other people will be talking about and it become a toy. But Liberia is at a crossroad. And people count on us. If we come to this conversation, these discourse, for us to really put our minds and soul and have a national conversation. The Dr. Toto, who support Councillor Gonglo, and before I forget, the Gonglo, our understanding, Councillor Gonglo is on his way. He will be coming to the US. In fact, Dr. Kamara, who is the group friends of Tiawan Gonglo, we're going to be hosting them. All of us, we're going to be playing host. Our understanding, there's a major fundraiser in the making in Delaware. Everybody taking the politics out of Liberia to the US, try to rally their base. So Dr. Kamara and will be appearing tomorrow to LPR Live, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be dipping, and we are making preparation. If the counselor comes, he will be making an appearance on this network, and hopefully with his wife. That would be quite fascinating to see his wife sitting.
Is he going to be on this platform with all of us here tomorrow night?
Who?
Kamara or whatever it is.
Dr. Kamara.
Yeah.
What do you mean by is he going to be on this platform with other?
I'd like to know the format. I just want to follow the format.
I say he will be appearing there. Kamara, of course, all of us, we will be here.
We will be allowed to ask him questions.
Well, wait, I will be presiding. Wait, when the time comes, it will be no. But what I'm saying, you will participate into the conversation, so don't get panicked about that.
Oh, please! I like to have them here to make sure that. Well, I'm hosting right now. Let me temper my enthusiasm.
Wait a minute, old man here. He's getting out of hand.
Let me go back tonight. You and your central right. I'm just warning you. It's just a matter of button. You see the mouse? It's just a click. And you're
guys, I'm forced to do this. I gotta let it go.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Hey, you say you man? Well,
all the way to back, yeah.
I rather sanction him. You know, he didn't come back. What you doing? What you doing? One high start dropping.
Okay, folks, again, Samson Tour, we're having fun here this evening with all of the analysts.
Yeah,
Mr. So is here as well. Mr. George, Dr. Toto, and Jay is here with us. We hope that Sese will be with us here very shortly. Hopefully, you'll be here tomorrow as well. But guys, let me ask you guys. We're not going to be here. We're going to be here for about another 10 minutes or so. But let me ask you guys here on a very serious note. First of all, I'm glad that Liberia is not like the United States, where we have seen the political situation have degenerated into some sort of violence and everything else you can think about. People hurting somebody because of their political view. This is not what is happening in Liberia, and we hope that stays their way. But let me ask all of you, and we will start with Jonathan and make it quick for us so the other guy can take on one question, please, and that is, what do you guys see Liberia after the election? Jay, I'm not going to even go any more into that question to give it context. And I just want you to tell me, where do you see Liberia after the 2023 election?
Thank you. After the 2023 presidential election, that will be credible, transparent, free and fair, we anticipate Liberia moving forward, aggressively facing her challenges, and taking the appropriate steps to solving those long-standing problems that we have faced as a country, primarily with nipping corruption as the primary source, creating jobs for many Liberians, creating a safe environment that people can invest in, and tapping on other revenue-generating resources like LEC, providing more distribution to where people need it, water and sewer, making sure the traffic flow better, and giving Liberia the facelift that it deserves.
Okay.
That is what I see.
Thank you. Dr. Toto, same question to you.
Yeah, Liberia, you know, if you look at Liberia as compared to other countries on the continent in terms of election, Liberia is one of the places that, despite our political differences, we will argue, we will fight on the internet. When it comes to conduct the election in Liberia, I see to have a peaceful election, we don't really have election violence as compared to other places like Kenya, Africa, Guinea, or other places where you see people, somebody have to die or whatsoever. So 2023, I see a break Liberia. After the election, whoever win, when the election is peaceful, and then we all come together, run our support beyond whoever win, and then Liberia move forward. That's how I see Liberia going to be.
Mr. George.
2023, after that, let me say this. Based on my own assessment in Liberia, the election will be marked by violence. Mark it. The election, you see violence. I don't know, you're going to sugarcoat it, but this election will be very contentious. But to your question, after 2023, it depends. Let me put this caveat. It depends. If any opposition figure win, there will be tension. If the ruling party win, there will be more tension in Liberia. So let me put it that way. Listen to me tonight. It will not be rosy. Because if the opposition win, there will be immense tension in the country because people want to see people being prosecuted.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it, Mr.
And if the ruling party win,
okay,
there will be more.
Okay, let's hear from Mr. So. Mr. So, you care to contribute on this question?
What are you talking? Am I now a Liberian and you're asking me if I care to contribute? This guy, I don't understand. You just get a little power here tonight and it's just going over your shadow. Look, on a serious note, I want to speak it as it is. Yeah, Daniel, that's your people. That's your people. That's your people. But yeah, it is. It's in 2/4. It's contingent. It's all of us. First and foremost, as a Liberian, I want to see a vibrant Liberian. But there is a saying that also says, in the absence of vengeance, there's no success. But I can tell you, it depends on how all of us want to conduct ourselves as we move forward towards 2023. And I want to be different with Pat George to say, oh, if the government win, there's going to be more tension. Sit down there, don't campaign aggressively. Sit down there and think you're going to go into popularity contests. Sit down there, don't mend your breeches. Sit down there and just think, okay, George Weah and the CDC is the worst government, and do not do your due diligence. And just think that, okay, at the end of the day, you're just going to win. Yes, it is bad. The economy of the country is not good. There are a lot of things going on in the past and now. But I can tell you, election full of surprises. And our people, and this is why the media, we today, whether you are a media practitioner, as long as you sit behind the microphone, it is your responsibility to educate, to inform, and tell the citizen the right thing. That's the responsibility of the media. We are not for, we are not against. We intercede on behalf of the citizens and tell them the right thing, and they can ultimately make their decisions in when it comes to voting. But I can tell you, the election, it can be anybody's game. If you work harder, you're gonna get a good result. Everybody anticipates. There's really establishment. They are not going to re-election with the anticipation to lose the election. The opposition is going into the process with the ultimate goal of winning. So he who works hard will get the prize. So, but overall, I want a vibrant LIBERIA, but we have to be honest with the people. If you run an effective campaign, you put the resources that you require in place, and not just only talking about the president wearing $10,000 shoe, and you are not providing alternative as to how you're going to do it, and you begin to recycle the same people to give them new face, and when they have the same old faces, and you're not putting tangible, then of course the Liberian always have their own saying. It's better to be with the devil that you have than the angel that you have not seen. This goes to all of those, the stakeholders, the people who want this job to be more serious and have an effective communication with the Liberian people and tell them exactly how they're going to do it differently and who are going to be held accountable if they become president of the Republic of Liberia.
Thank you. Jay, let me ask you this. Are you able to get hold of Comey's speech, that we can get it and then be able to read it here or by ourselves on the show that will be hosted primarily and only me be able to read Comey's speech and dissect the speeches?
Why only you?
Mr. So, I'm talking to Jonathan. So
this is how you can bring rebellions into institutions. You have a group of people here, you say only you. Why only you? You're not a supporter. You sort of be bringing boycott speech here, so we analyze it as well.
The question, Jonathan, are you going to do that?
Yes, I will send you the speech.
Okay, I will send you my email address and you send it. Mr. So, let me ask you, now that you are bringing a wonderful female to join us, what would be the address?
Dr. George?
Huh? Yep, Dr. Jeffrey speaking. Oh, Dr. who? Dr. Toto?
No, Dr. Toto ain't got no Dr. George. No, Dr. George, yo.
Dr. Toto.
No, Dr.
School, you get by the name I can't keep from with a doctor degree.
So, Mr. So, let me ask you now that if a PhD got, wow, we're gonna have 2 PhD here. That's good. Who the other one? That one and Dr. Toto. Oh, I forgot. Me too. And but Mr. So, let me ask you this: with this lady gonna be joining, what would be the dress code now?
What are you talking about?
What would be the dress code? How are we supposed to dress to come here now?
That's in the background.
Where banana leaf and come?
You know me. I'm capable of doing that, Mr. So.
You're the
CEO. You want me to wear banana leaf and show up here?
Listen. On a serious note, I think from time to time, for the most part, contributors, analysts, we have been ourselves. And the thing about it is the nomenclature of our institution. It is not a Liberian people that name it, but we say Liberia Public Radio. And we motor the start. In fact, that was one of the things when I went for that seminar with our own NPR radio here right here in Rhode Island. Kristen Goulet, I remember she asked that when she said, do you know what you're getting into to run a public network? I remember that question. So we see ourselves as a torchbearer. We are not focusing how many people watching, how many people doing it, but what is important to us, all of us, and before even coming here, it's the substance of the conversation, the mutual respect that we have for one another, how we call the opportunity our guests to allow them to explain themselves, and we also have the opportunity to ask them questions. That helps our people to make informed decisions. So when we are coming here, we know that we are coming to face the public, the audience, not just only Liberians. I tell you what, there's a guy they were in Rwanda, I believe, in Somalia, but there's a Liberian. People, all of these podcasts and for sure, people take time to watch them live or even after. And it creates a sort of connection. So, and these things, people count on this thing to get some sort of information as well. So when we come here, our presentation, how we want to present ourselves, how we're going to get ourselves to be, that will tell Mr. Daniels to say, I'm coming back tomorrow. But when you come here and your t-shirt falling from your shoulder up to your, you say, but these people, they're not serious. What the heck they want to even talk about? See how he or she looks like. But all of us, everybody been looking good on this network, and we want to continue to elevate our own way of doing things. So we need to set ourselves apart than any other people. They can do what they can do. That's okay. But I think we bring a lot. If these people, they can contact or and reach out. There are other major networks out there. But if they can reach out, and I was surprised. I've not seen her. I've not even talked to this person. I say I want to be part of your conversation because I follow, or we follow as an institution, and we like the kind of conversation that you put here, the mutual respect, the disagreement, but the conversations is being done in a safer context. And at the end of the day, the show can come to a good conclusive ending. So that is a speaks for
that means the show is at end, Mr. So good conclusive ending here tonight. I want to thank all of you. Mr. So, tomorrow, will you let me be the moderator tomorrow with the young man, with the man coming from ANC, not ANC, from
the guys so addicted with the ANC business. I think a lot of something. Can you guys, Janitor and Pajoy, can you tell Kumi to call this guy here, please?
No, I mean, we're trying to see, we're invited to have one-on-one with Cummings to sit down.
Who?
You're not ready.
If you let me do one-on-one with Kumi, the next day Kumi will be president immediately.
We'll allow you to sit down with Cummings and talk privately.
This president.
I want public. But anyhow, that you got something you want to say?
One day for CDC, another day for Kumi, the other day for Chawan.
Okay. No, not at all.
Mr. Tool. There are two things we didn't touch today, but
tomorrow, tomorrow after.
Yeah, I just rented it. That my giving program and Nataya Mage had, the parents of students are complaining that they were forced to attend the program of Nataya Mage 12 to 18
they couldn't stand up there to say that now they're ready to tell us that those people, they might not waste my time, man. But anyway, let me just say this here. Tomorrow, Mr. So will permit you to run the show, and we on a very serious note. You can have your show back tomorrow. My power finished today. At the end of my power, I've been power drunk all day.
You're not even getting it again. Let me tell you, you're not getting it again. It was just by coincidence because I got caught up with job here today. Is that why you got it? But you're not getting it again because it was so horrible tonight.
Today, you didn't complain about no time, oh? Did you complain about any time?
No. No. Come on, Joyce. Need it, man. He knows me. I'm an Israeli. I can pay that. I don't let anything go.
You didn't accuse me because every day.
Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Good night. Let me get people off. Jay, Mr. So, Mr. George. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, so let me go on. All right, folks. Again, Samson to Labrador Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again this evening. Tomorrow, tune in to Labrador Public Radio. Mr. So will be here, and he will be able to give us some wonderful, wonderful thing. So let's go on. This lady, we're gonna be joining us, of course. and she's going to be part of the LPR family. And we are going to be brothers and sisters here. That's what we do here on LIBERIA Public Radio.
That's more, okay?
And of course, Sunday, tune into Mr. Social, where you will have this wonderful lady from the another political party leader will be his guest, and she will be here on LIBERIA Public Radio.